The social distribution of scarcity determines what Marcuse calls the performance principle. This is the historical specification of the reality principle proper to, quote, an acquisitive and antagonistic society in the process of constant expansion, end quote. But capitalism's performance principle indexes the surplus of repression incurred by the subordination of human needs to the autonomization of social production as an end in itself. But having distinguished surplus from basic repression, Marcuse quickly points out that, quote, in the history of civilization, basic repression and surplus repression have been inextricably intertwined, end quote. And this is to say that while the domination of nature conditions social domination also conditions the domination of nature. However, this interdependence of basic and surplus repression creates a difficulty. It is not nature that determines the modification of the instincts required by civilization. This modification already presupposes the existence of civilization or culture in the broadest sense. In other words, nature, understood as the principle of necessity or scarcity, does not fix basic repression. It does not determine the minimum of repression required for the existence of culture. So either this modification is brought about by a culture without social domination, one in which the use of natural resources involves minimal domination, for example, hunting and gathering, and natural scarcity is equally distributed, or it reflects a specific mode of social domination, and hence a variety of the performance principle. In the first case, freedom from social domination obtains, but at the cost of submission to scarcity. To turn this into the paradigm of equilibrium between culture and nature is to naturalize basic repression as the perfect harmonization of pleasure and necessity, an accord harboring the myth of a human state of nature that is metaphysical at best and fascistic at worst. But in the second case, where the modification of instinct is compelled by social domination, basic repression becomes inseparable from surplus repression, and the reality principle inextricable from the performance principle.